Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ronaldo Pinto. I'm the Technical Sales Director for Applied Flow Technology. My email is reynaldopinto@aft.com. And I'll be hosting today's webinar that we have called Layers, a cool new way of preparing your visual report. And the title is very appropriate because you will find very fun and powerful the new layer feature that we'll be using our new versions to prepare your visual report. If you have any questions, please type it in the section on the GoToMeeting chat room, and at the end we'll have a section of question and answer where I'll try to answer your question. If I don't have time, you'll receive an email with an answer to your questions. So a brief description of the agenda we're going to be covering. We're going to be talking about what are the workspace layer, the philosophy used to create them, the new layer user interface, layer property window, layer control, in label control and layers, layer property windows, label control. We'll be working with an example model. We'll talk about annotation, color maps, special layers, and layers presets. And then we'll have conclusions, and then we'll have a session of questions and answers. So what are workspace layers? Well, basically, layers is all about visibility in your workspace objects. All the information you want to show about your pipes, your junctions, and everything is what layers is about. Layers is a concept used by AFT to redesign the visual report windows. Visual report, as you are used to use the window to prepare your visual report, will no longer be available. It has been replaced by layers, and it will be offered in a latest versions of the software. So a group of layer is like a stack of transparencies. Here you have your model, and on top of it, you put the layers which have information, and you look from the top, and you'll see a view, and this view will depend on what information is available on each layer. Each layer has certain data on it. All the layers together combine to create a certain view. Our philosophy is not original for AFT. We have used the idea from for Photoshop or similar applications. Layers will be available in our next software release. You will not be available in current version, and our next release is expected to be to occur the September of this year. So what is the philosophy? I'm trying to explain the philosophy so when you use it in a new latest version, it will be easy for you to use layers. So first, all objects exist for connectivity calculations, even if they're not visible. So if you're not showing it in the workspace, it doesn't mean they have been erased. is what it only means is that you're not showing it in your layers. A layer can be shown or hidden to create a view of the workspace. What is visible on the workspace depends on what objects are shown in each layer. As I said, each layer contains information, and that is what's going to be shown, or the combination of layers that you're showing. If an object is in 2 or more layers, you will only see the topmost representation of that object. For example, if a pipe is colored in red in the top layer and blue in the bottom layer, and both layers are shown, you will see a red pipe on the workspace. On the contrary, if the pipe is colored in blue in the top layer and red in the bottom layer, and both layers are shown, you will see a blue pipe in the workspace. All objects are always on the special layer called base layer. This will be created for you automatically, and you will not be able to delete this layer. And the simple reason is because if we allow you to delete it, you won't see your model. The pipe and junction, color, style, and display text have been moved from the property window and is now set as part of the layers. Some settings affect all layers. You can only have one font style across all layers. You cannot have different fonts for different layers. These settings are controlled via global layer setting windows. Layers are not tied to scenarios. They are globally defined. If you make a new layer in any scenario, it is immediately available in all scenarios. Change to the style of an object in a layer will affect all scenarios. New layer user interface. The new layer user interface is now in a new tab in the quick access panel. It's right here. You will see it right here. Right to the scenarios and properties, you will see it here. So you will have a section that shows the layers. You can add one, make it visible, global setting, etc. The way to see or to activate a layer is by the visibility toggles, which is an eye. If you cross the eye, like this would be a layer called building names, the eye is crossed, that layer is not shown. Now there's another layer here that's hot return, which the eye is activated, it means it will be shown. So in this example here, we have 5 layers that are shown. You can save a combination of views by the layer presets, and that way you save time. Here's the layer presets, and we'll be working. You can create or delete it and load it and update it depending on what you want. Layer property window. It has a similar look and feel to the analysis setup. Navigation panel is on the left. So here you have all the information, the pipe and junctions, the label control, the annotations, etc. In this example, we have selected pipe and junctions. You can individually hide or show pipes and junctions specifically. And changes are live. Like here is the visibility toggle for each individual component. If I hide like pipes 79, which is shown, it will show in the workspace. The same the color. If I change the color or the thickness of a pipe, you will immediately see it on the workspace. A label is a text associated with an object. It's the information that you want to show of the object, whether it's a pipe or whether it's a junction. Pipe number, pipe name, mass flow rate, maximum transient pressure, etc., can be information that you show. Labels are treated in a special way. It will show the unique combination of defined display text items from each visible layer. Example. Okay, let's see. If you have one layer showing pipe number and pipe name, and you have another layer showing pipe number and pipe length, and you show them both, the result will show only copy of the pipe number, because one layer, it will not show the pipe number twice. It will show it once. Another example is if one layer is showing pipe length in meters and another layer is showing pipe length in feet, both values will be displayed because they're unique. One is in meters and one is in feet. Input and output are displayed together. There's no special section for input and output. Selected output parameters only show when the value is available. If you have not run the model, the output parameters will not be available. They will be listed, but they will not be shown. The order of display of the items is dictated by both the layer order and the parameter order in a particular layer. So let's see this example here. We have 3 layers: top layer, middle layer, bottom layer. As we said, top layer is the first priority to show. So top layer shows pipe number that is also shown in the middle layer and in the bottom layer. So here it will be shown first. Since the middle layer is also showing pipe number, it will not be shown, and neither will be shown the pipe number that you selected for the bottom layer. So the top layer shows pipe number first. It will be shown first in the list. Then it shows second pipe mass flow rate. It will be shown second. Pipe size will be shown third in the list. Pipe name will be shown fourth. And the last, which is located in the bottom layer, is the length of the pipe. So this is the order, and is set by top layer, middle layer, and bottom layer. The label can be hidden for individual objects on a layer. You do not have to show all of them. You can hide certain components that you're not interested in showing, or an area specific. Layer property window. Here is the control text on the workspace for pumping junctions. This is the parameter that you selected to show the parameters. The parameter list available for either junctions or parameters is shown here. So here, like, you select CV, flow area, then all the elements that you want to show are listed in the right section. Output type, like here, we select the CV and heat rate, are great if you're not, if you know you don't have an output currently available. In other words, if you haven't run your model and the output is not available, it would be great. It will still be listed, but it will only show when you run the model. Okay, so we have an example model here that we're going to be working with. In this example, water circulates through 2 heat exchangers. What do we have here? We have 3 pumps pumping through 2 heat exchangers. We want to create layers that allow us to see. So we're going to create a first layer. What is the first layer about? we want to show the original model with all the pipes and junction tags. So I'm going to bring the model here in Fathom 13, which, as I said, will be available, probably will be launched in September. So here is the user interface, right next to properties, work layers, okay? Right here. So this is the global control. You can add layers here. You can delete layers. You can show layers, okay? As I said, when you first run the program, it will create 3 layers for you. We have 3 layers here: names, numbers, and base layer. If I turn off names, look, it will disappear the names. If I shut off the layer numbers, you will not see the numbers. And if I shut off the layer base, you will not see anything. So I'm going to turn them on again. And I want to show you the global control. This affects all the layers right here next to it. So you can show the analysis type, whether it's a Fathom, Arrow, an Impulse, or an Extreme, the input file name, the show scenario, and the unit legend. So if I show the analysis type, it will tell me it's a Fathom model. If I show the input file name, it shows the name of the location and the file name. If I select scenario, it will tell me what scenario I'm sharing you. And this is very useful when you present the report. And finally, you can show the unit legend, but since we're not showing any output, if I select it, it doesn't show anything. It looks like a glitch, but it's not a glitch. Okay? So I'm going to turn them off. And here is the setup for the font. This, as I mentioned before in the slides, you can change the font, and a change in the font affects all the layers. I'm going to close here. So the first layer we want to create is an original model with all the piping junctions. So I'm going to select in the workspace what I want to show. Here are all the objects selected, and I say here, new layer. We have 3 options: blank layer, from selection from the workspace, and color map. I'm going to go for the selection of the workspace, and I'm going to give it a name, original. So now, if I turn off the rest of the layers, original will have all the information, but I want to add more information to my layer. So I come here right next to it, and I said layer settings. Now I come here and I say, okay, in the pipe parameters, and you will see the change immediately as I make it. I want to show the pipe size. So now this pipe size is shown. If I go to junctions and I come over here and I want to show the junction name is not shown, so I want to show it. Now I have the names. Perfect. So now I have if I turn it off, nothing will show. If I turn it on, everything will show in the original layer that I just created. Okay, so now what else do we want? We want to show flow through pumps. Okay, perfect. So I come in here, I select what I want to show, I create a new layer, from selection. So I'm going to call it flow pumps. Perfect. Now I have a new layer that's called flow pumps. If I turn this off, you will see that only pumps I'm showing, but I want to show something else, more information. So I come in here and I say, okay, what else do I want to show? I come to pipe parameters and I say, okay, in the pipe, I want to show volumetric flow rate. I add it here, and you can see it's in gray, and it's gray because I haven't run the model yet. When I run it, it will be shown, but it's listed. Also, I want to show in the junctions, the junction name is not shown. Okay, so now we have it here. And finally, in the pipe parameters, I want to show the pipe size. Perfect. So as you can see, the information of the output is not shown. I'm going to run the software. I say Workspace. And now you see that the flow in the pipe is shown. Okay, perfect. What else? We want to create another one that says flows through heat exchanger. Okay, so the same thing as a pump, but for heat exchangers. So now I turn off the flow through pumps. Nothing is shown. I go to original and I select what I want to show. I create a new model from selected and I say flow heat exchangers. So if I turn off the original, I will see that I have also. So now I want to add the information. I select pipe parameters and I say I want to show the volumetric flow rate. In the junction names, I want to show the junction names. And also I want to show in the heat exchanger let me see what else I want to show. Pressure loss friction. Okay, so now I have here 0.3 bar, 0.3 bar. This is what I want to show. I close. I can add more information or whatever. I can fix it the way the same as the visual report to make it look better. Okay. I have all the labels that I want to create. Annotations. Annotations are no longer semi-tied to scenarios. Annotations now have a name so you can distinguish it in the list of annotations in the layers area. You can see them and see the annotations that you want to show in each layer. A layer can be configured to show or hide a given set of annotations. Other drawings behave similar. Additional drawing shapes are now available, and this is a very nice feature. A cloud shape has been added. We can show, which can represent the changes in the workspace. Now you can show a cloud indicated that a change has made. Also, a single lane shape is now available. So To create an annotation, you click on the annotation in the toolbox, the same as you always did, and you select from the drop-down menu what you want to, the type of shape you want to use. If you want to edit the annotation, then it's created right here, right next to the workshop, and you can edit all the information in the annotation. Annotation property are specified in the quick access panel for easy, and it uses a familiar property table format. Here's information and you can edit. So let's work in the example model. In the pump and heat exchanger layers, we want to add a node. All heat exchangers are operating. So here in the layer that we created, we want to add a node that all the heat exchangers are operating. And also, we want in the layer and the pump layer, the flow pump layer, we want to add a node that showing that all pumps are operating. So let's create this. We come here and say, okay, create an annotation. We select what we want. We come here and we say, in the text, all heat exchangers operating. We select the size. I'm going to use 16. And I want it in the middle. And I want it to be thicker. Okay. Gonna edit this. Okay, perfect. So now if I turn it off, it will not be available. If I turn it on, now it has a text box indicating, and I want to do the same for pump. So I come here and I say, okay. Control C, I copy it, Control V, put it here, paste. I want to edit it. I come to annotation and I say all pumps operating. I edit it. Perfect. So now let me see something because I saw something in the pump space. I turn off the pumps, flow and heat exchanger. I don't want this to be shown here. So I come here, I'll come to annotations. I don't want you to show this sign. So turn it off. And now it only shows the one I want to show for a heat exchanger. Pumps, I turn off heat exchanger, flow and heat exchanger, and I see that it's showing also the heat exchanger. So I select this, I come and I edit it, and I say, don't show it. And don't show the junctions. So now as I close here, okay, now everything's set up, and let me see the original pump to see if it's showing the text box that I want to here, show hide. Okay, all pumps operating is the one that I want to show, and all heat exchangers, I don't want to show it. So now if I turn on flow and heat exchanger, I'll have this information. If I turn it off, the pumps. So if I turn it on, I turn it off here. and I turn on original, it shows all the model. As always, as I told you, base layer shows everything. You cannot delete it, because if you delete it, then you wouldn't be able to see it, your model. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off. And now let's see what we want to show. Color maps. Color maps are a special layer. Only one color map can be shown at all times. Okay? So in the pump and heat exchangers, we want to add a color map for the flow. So let's do that. We come to color, we add one, we say it's a color map, we say flow, we call it flow. Then we say, okay, now what do I want to show in this color map go flow? Volumetric flow rate. Okay, so now it's on. It's on. So if I turn on the layer for the flow in the heat exchanger, it will have color because the color map is activated. If I turn it off, you will not see colors. If you turn it on, the same is for flow and pumps. If I turn it on, now the flow and pumps have color. If I turn out both, now I see in the heat exchanger color and operating with the flow rate and all the information I want. As I said, you can edit this. You can move the text to show it better. Okay. Special layers and layers preset. This is very powerful tool, and you're going to like it a lot. A special layer is one that supersedes some or all other standards layer behavior. As I shown you, color map animation is an example. A color map overrides all the color settings when it's active, but it will still show other displays text from visible layers. Like I showed you here, if I turn off color map, the color is respective. So all the information of the flow in heat exchanger and the pipe and the pumps is shown. If I turn it on, it only adds a color, but the information is still kept. Layers preset. These retains the shown and hidden properties of the layers. It saves the view that you prepare for the layers. That way you can access the view easily without needing to create it again. A layer preset can be linked to an associated scenario, allowing custom workspace representation. So in the example model that we have been working, we want to create the following layer. Preset to quickly see the original model with all the pipe and junction tags. So I want to save the original model. So I turn off the original model view. I'm going to activate the layer original. Everything is shown. So I come here in the layer preset and I say, okay, I want to save this view original. I'm going to call it original. So like if I show flow exceeds and color map, and I say, okay, I want you to bring me the original view. It turns on everything and it saves it here. So now we can recall any view that we are saving. What other layer preset we want to save? Flow through pumps and through heat exchangers. We want to save this view. So I come here, I turn off everything, and I want to say, okay, this view, flow through pumps and flow through heat exchangers, I want to save it. So I'm going to create a preset layer that is called flow in pumps and heat exchanger. I say, okay. So now, if I turn off everything and I say, okay, I want to see the flow through pumps, I can go to the low layers preset and it will show me everything that I have. If I call the original, it will turn off. So the view that you preset is saved in the layers preset. You can update it here in each layer, or you can load it again. So one final layer that we want to save is flow through pumps, flow through heat exchanger, and color map. So now we come here again. So we turn off the view, we turn on the view that we want to save. So I want to save flow through heat exchanger, flow through pumps, and color map. Now I have this view with the same flow through heat exchanger, flow through pumps, and I want to save it. So I create a new one that I'm going to call flow through pumps, flow through heat exchanger, plus color map. And say, okay. Now I have 3 layers preset. If I want to recall the original, I run here, so it shows me the layer. If I recall the layers preset, pumps, flow thrower, and heat exchanger, it's safe. And if I wanted with color map, I already saved that, and it shows me everything. So it's an easy way to save a view and to see immediately without having to turn off the layers that you want to combine to see a specific view. So conclusions. Visual Report windows will no longer be available. It will be replaced by layers in the workspace. So now you'll create your layers, and the view that you want to see. Visual Report is, if you go to that window in the new, it will tell you that it's no longer available. It's available. You can see the Visual Report using the layers. Layers allow the user to see both the input and the output in the workspace. The output will not be shown unless you have run the program and the output parameters are available. Else, it will only show the input. The combination of different layers can be saved by using the layers preset feature. As you saw, it's a nice way, a fast way to see a view, and you don't have to turn on and off layers. You can save the view and see it quickly what you want to see. So this would be the end of my webinar. I hope you like the new feature. There's a lot, it's very powerful. We're very excited. And as I said, it will be offered in our next versions, will be released in September. So now I'm going to open the section for questions. You're welcome, Sarah. I hope you liked it. Again, it's very easy to use, and 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 once you get used to it, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so I see no more questions. If you have more questions, you can send me an email or send us an email, and I'll answer all your questions. So what's next? You will receive a follow-up email with the link to the recorded webinar. You can join us in future webinars and AFT webinars, upcoming webinars. You can request an evaluation of the sales AFT. Pricing information, if you're in US, contact AFT. International, contact your channel partners. Want to thank you for joining us. It's exciting to have you with us, and please join us to future webinars. Thank you very much. As I said, my name is Ronaldo Pinto. My email, ronaldopinto.com, .aft.com, and thank you for joining us again. See you next time.